So, in context to the Guidewire learning, when we are trying to understand about the policy center, the first thing we must be knowing about the PCF file creations, right? So, which is called uh, page configuration files, especially when we are working on the Guidewire application, we need to define the layout as well as the behavior of a specific page or any kind of section when we are working on any kind of insurance application. This PCF files contains information about the kind of widgets which will be displayed on the page, as well as the kind of data that will be displayed on the each widget, etc. This PCF files majorly includes all the information about the behavior of the page, such as how the data is being displayed, how the page will be react to any kind of user actions, and at the same time how the page interacts with other parts of the application. So for that, generally this PCF is something that we use. In regard to understanding about the PCF files and all, first of all we must be knowing about first of all we must be knowing about the application user interface framework, especially on the Guidewire. So normally, for example, if you see this is a PCF element, for example, right? So this is a PCF element that we have created. So when there is any kind of PCF element, there will be two different things, right? So we will be having one is about the widget. Here you can see this is about the widget that we create. At the same time, this is about the location. This is about the location here. Okay, so widgets majorly displays all the elements of the user interfaces, which majorly rendered into any kind of file formats that we are using, either HTML or something. When it comes to the locations and all, which majorly navigates the kind of places in the application a user or any kind of application can navigate into. So these are the two major things that you see when we are integrating or when we are incorporating PCF elements on all that, right? So page configurations when we are doing, this is something that we need to be used with. Now, when we are trying to understand about the PCF, when before you are going to create any PCF steps, especially on the Guidewire Studio that we are creating, first of all, we must be knowing about the elements. So which are as follows. The first one about the editors. This is the first element. Elements I am specifying. Second about the kind of list views that we have. Followed by any kind of detailed views we have. At the same time, the kind of buttons that we are using. Or the kind of pop-ups that we use. Followed by any kind of interface elements that we are using. Okay. It's interface elements that we are using. So these are the different elements that we use in PCF, right? So one is about the editors, second about the list views, followed by the detail views, buttons, pop-ups, interface elements. These are the different elements that we use when we are working on the PCF file. So as a widget, when we see, right? So when we are trying to understand this from the widgets perspective, as in we see, which majorly an element in the policy center we are using, which can be render the information about the display over the pages that we are creating, either it can be HTML, right? The kind of visualization or the kind of buttons that we are using, or the kind of menus that we use over here, or the kind of text boxes we are using. These are all something which normally comes under the examples of widgets, all that. So along with this, when you're trying to understand about the type of widgets are concerned, generally type of widgets we can consider into two parts. One is about atomic widgets and second about the container widgets. Atomic widgets are the one where when we are creating any kind of PCF files where and all, this is a type of widget which majorly used to display any single piece of information or a data on a page. So majorly These atomic widgets are majorly designed for any kind of simple arrays less focused, typically displayed all the policy numbers or policy dates. All that will be comes under the atomic widgets. Next one, when it comes to the understanding over the PCF file, includes in context to the data information that we are mentioning over the common elements that we see here. We may be having some data models also. At the same time, you may be having some display configurations or any kind of input configurations, followed by any kind of behavior or as behavior configurations or validations. All these things we need to know. So before we were getting into the PCF file creations and all, first of all, we must be knowing in context to the widget, in context to the atomic widget itself is concerned, we must be knowing about these common elements, which is called data model, display configuration, all this, or input configurations, behavior configuration, all this. This I'm going to discuss in the next session.